All right, y'all, welcome back to Pulse Outdoors. So we didn't catch any pigs this morning in the snares. We're gonna reset those this afternoon. I am out here at that junction I was telling y'all about, this lane, this new lane that's been pushed. And I've already set 2 traps at the far end, one at the far end, one more toward the middle. I'm gonna set one right here. And look, something's a little bit been digging there a little bit. So I'm gonna set one there, and I'm gonna set one almost diagonally across over here. And these are both gonna be your standard dirt hole sets. I'm running MB 550s and these Dukes. Basically just with everything fastened to your trap, double swivel. So y'all stay tuned. Alright guys, so got your dirt hole. I got my pan about 9 to 10 inches away. There's really no standard specific on distance on how far you should be away from your dirt hole. I use wax paper for my pan covers because it's inexpensive, it's quick, it's easy. You just crinkle it up a little bit, it takes that memory out of that, so there ain't really no sound. And I've had good success with it. It works for me. Like I said, a lot of people do this differently, but this is just the way that I do it. And this ground's fairly soft, and I know there's been some activity on here, so we're gonna get this one covered up, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's covered and go on to the next one. So that's what it looks like when it's covered. Virtually nothing there. I use a piece of wool and this bait that I made, homemade bait, that I pretty much brewed up in the barn. It's just a bunch of different stuff. What it does have is a lot of fatty acid scent. Now dogs, cats, everything, remember you're wanting them to eat it, not roll on it, not, you know, you want them to try to eat it. So that's the big thing about trapping. You know, it smells to the point when you roll out, you should roll on it right where your trap is, and they're gonna set your trap off, and they're gonna know your trap's there. So you don't want to educate them too much. So that's basically what I do. I have different types of bait, but right now I'm not using anything but just straight bait and a little bit of gland lure. Let's see what happens. So stay tuned. You know, another thing you really need to remember when you're setting traps is making sure that trap is bedded solid. You don't want it to move at all. You don't want it to teeter-totter or anything. If they do, that cat or that coyote is going to know something's underneath the dirt, and they'll actually dig it out. So make sure they're bedded solid in the ground, and try to keep them as uniform as possible. No humps, anything like that. You want them flat. Y'all stay tuned. You know, another thing, guys, is this wax paper. I use it and I'll run it up and down that snare, and what it does is it helps waterproof it. It helps it slide a lot faster, and you'll have better hookups with it. Just running that wax paper up and down that snare, it's helped me a bunch. Y'all stay tuned. You know, another reason why I set them in the ground like this and not on a drag or anything like that is one, it's a lot harder to find them when they're on drags. You know, they tear stuff up even more. Two, this way it takes away their fulcrum, so you know they can pull, but they're pulling on themselves, kind of like a fishing rod. You know, it keeps their center of gravity lower to the ground. It's like if you was to lay down and somebody put their hand on top of your head and told you to get up. You're not going to be able to do it. It's just going to pull you right back down the ground. And that's the reason why I set them in the ground like this with earth anchors. And a lot of times I'll even attach a big spring you know, a wolf spring or something, and that way it even wears them out even faster. But that's the real reason why we started setting them this way, is because they're a lot less likely to break than what they would be if you was to tie them to a post or something like that. So, stay tuned.